Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about web hosting with Heroku. Today, we'll be introducing this new tool that students can help easily host their own website using Heroku Web App. Honestly, we have no prior knowledge needed for going on with this workshop, so let's get started. So to give you a small glimpse and introduction to Heroku, it is first important to know what Heroku is. Heroku is a platform as a service that enables developers to build, run, and operate applications entirely in the cloud. And we believe that we'll be able to do that by deploying, running, managing, and scaling modern apps. And those can be hosted using new website nodes that students will be looking for on their own projects. Go on. So why Heroku? Heroku is easy to set up and use. It is also cost effective and supports many languages. Also, it works with GitHub, which most developers love to use when hosting their own projects. So to start with some prereqs, you should have GitHub, MPB, and Heroku account to get started with our workshop today. And to speak more about our workshop, I would like to invite Manasi and Omar, who are one of our tech leads at Developer Student Club, and we'll be walking you through hosting with Heroku for the first time.
So in this Heroku workshop, we're planning on installing a Heroku command line interface, creating a NodeJS project, and deploying our application. But most importantly, we're going to have lots of fun. To start off, we'll show you how to install Heroku command line interface. First, we would like you to go to the website devcenter.heroku.com/article/heroku-CLI to download the appropriate installer for your operating system. Then run the installer and make sure that all of the checkboxes are ticked, and select Next. Finally, click on Install and wait for it to complete. Once it's finished, you can click on Close. In order to double-check the successful installation, run Heroku on your terminal. Open up your terminal window and type Heroku login. Next, we'll be getting our Node.js project. Is everyone done installing the command line interface? We can wait before moving on. Okay, Moving on, we want to download the provided project as a zip file and then unzip it. The folder name should be Heroku Workshop-Master. Next, open your terminal and navigate to the folder. To do this, you can type cd downloads / Heroku Workshop-Master / CD stands for change directory, which will help you navigate to the folder. Then enter the command npm init in your terminal, and continue pressing enter until you see, "Is this okay?" After which you can enter yes. Now enter the two commands you see on the right. npm install node -- save, enter, and then npm install express -- save. And then click enter. We'll now be moving on to Omar to demo the rest of the process.
Yeah, so Manasi showed you the way of unzipping. I'm going to show you another way that you can also use. So you can actually just use git clone. And if you copy this link inside of the code dropdown and click this copy button, then you can just open a terminal inside the folder that you want to create the project. And once you create this, then you can just clone the project by typing git clone and then the URL you just copied. And that's the equivalent of downloading it and unzipping it. Now you just want to open the project. So you go into the folder that we just cloned, and you can open any text editor from here. So I'll be using VS Code. So to launch that, you just type in code and then dot. Okay, now once we have that open, we want to run the commands that Manasi was telling us to run. So that would be in our terminal. So we want to open a new terminal. We want to run npm init to create the package.json. It'll ask a few questions and we can just keep hitting enter until it's done. And now that we did that, now we can run the two commands to install Node and Express. So the first one was npm install Node. We'll wait for that to finish. And then we'll also install Express. So we'll type in npm install Express. Okay, and that's the steps that Manasi has showed so far. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat. And then I'll just pass it back to Manasi to continue.
All right, so now we want to open Visual Studio Code and open the Heroku Workshop-Master folder, and then click on the server.js file. Next, we have to get port variable before starting the server and set the server to listen on the port. So as you can see on the right side, there's a chunk of code between the two comments. Enter that code, and starting from var port is equal to process.env.port, up until the end. And then once you've finished that, we want to ensure that the port is running. So in your terminal, type Heroku local web. And then make sure that the output that you got matches the one that's on the screen. Then we want to close the server by typing Control-C and then respond yes to the question. Okay, so we don't want to store all of the node modules files since everyone has to install it anyways. So we're going to create a new file called getignore and copy and paste the contents into your file. This will tell your repository what to ignore. Remember to save your file at the end. Now I'll pass it on to Omar to demo that part.
Awesome, thank you. So first we started off by opening up the server.js file. So we'll find that on the left panel right here. And then what we wanted to do was update the port so that Heroku can decide where to host it. So we create a port variable. And we also say that it can use port 3000, and this is for local testing. However, Heroku will use this. And then we just want to tell the app to listen on the port we just told it. And then we'll just print that out so we can see it happen. Cool. And then now we want to run Heroku local web inside our terminal to make sure that it's running on ports 5000. And there we go. We have it running on port 5000. So then we can just close this and respond yes. The getignore file should already be provided inside of the project you downloaded, but sometimes you won't see it inside of a project, so you may need to add it, and you would want to ignore the files for the reasons Manasi said earlier. And I'll pass it back to Manasi to continue.
All right, now comes the part to deploy to Heroku. So first we're going to create a Git repository by entering git init, git add, and git commit. Enter these commands separately, pressing enter after each one. And now we need to log into Heroku via terminal. So open up your terminal and type Heroku login. Next, we're going to enter Heroku create, git push Heroku master, and Heroku open. After typing Heroku create, you can specify the URL that you want, and if it's available, you'll get it. Otherwise, you'll get a warning if it's not available. And if you don't specify anything, then it'll just make its own URL. So yeah, that's how you share your project. I'll pass it on to Omar to demo this last part.
Awesome. So the first thing we needed to do was commit all our changes that we just made. So we created a Git repository. There should already be one, but just in case, we'll run that. We'll add all of our changes, and then we'll commit them. And just type a nice message like update server port or something. Awesome. Now that we committed all of our changes, we want to log into Heroku. So we run Heroku login. It'll open up something on your browser, but first it'll ask you to open it. So just hit enter. It'll open something that looks like this, and then you just have to click login. Awesome. Now what we want to do is run Heroku create to create our project. So Heroku create, and if you want to give it a special name, you can just type it right after. So I'll give it DSC roll dice. And just hit enter. It'll make sure that that URL exists, and it looks like it did, so we're good. Now we want to push our project up to Heroku. So we do that by typing in git push Heroku. So Heroku created the remote Heroku. So now we can just push to it. And you can type git push Heroku master, but it suffices to just type git push Heroku. And this will take a minute or two to push all the changes and then install the node dependencies, and then finally launch the site. So we'll just wait for that to happen. Should be nearing the end of that. And compressing is the last stage. Awesome. So it gives us our URL. So it's DSC roll dice, just like I typed out. And now we can finally see our site by typing Heroku open. We're just going to that URL. And then we should see it pop up in our browser. And now you can roll your dice. And you can share your project with your friends. Just copying the link and sending it to them. And that's the basics of uploading to Heroku.
Thank you, Omar and Manasi, for this amazing project. We have seen how we could create a DSC dice roller in just 20 minutes, which is amazing for anyone who's looking to host easy to use web app that they could share and send to their friends or family. So this would become, this may be in a part of a bigger series. Since Heroku is very basic, it would be a very fast deployable website app that could be used mostly in hackathons, where students are looking to host something on the web in extremely short amount of time. So if there is any questions or something that we missed through this presentation, we would love if you would send those questions in, and we'll be happy to answer them. I would also like to thank Omar and Manasi for being with us today, and we will stick around for another 2 minutes if there are any questions. If not, then I hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you. Since it's all going well now, then please look out for our next events. We'll probably be showcasing our info session soon, and we would love to see you all there. Thank you.